Good evening, greetings from the Institute of Global Professional IGP. Greetings from the Institute of Global Professional IGP. Thank you all for joining us and staying with us in the end. Honorable Knowledge Seeker, today I'm your host for the evening. My name is Badum Das. I'm from Bangladesh. We are Knowledge Seeker. I'm proud to be associated with the IGP. IGP is Social and Asset for International Educational and Training Institute. In last 2 years, we already served 35 million plus knowledge seekers from 100 plus countries. IGP is internationally recognized and globally accredited. We are connected to more than 450 plus profession and 4,500 plus organizations. Institute of Global Professional is an education institute that provides social work globally recognized and reportable. We serve student community resource providing holistic social work and education. We believe that it's not effective training is one skill just by acquiring formal education. So we provide effective training and consultation to generate professional generation all over the world. We distribute our services locally, national, international to students, job seeker, job holder, and also for learners, the respective campus location and distance learning platform. We are an occupational and dependable institute. IGP is one of the famous online institutes from all over the world. Our vision is education is not a business product, it's a part of our human rights. Based on our vision, we are trying to reach all corners of the world for free webinar, seminar courses, award quiz competition, mentoring, and counseling, etc. On the other side, we are also trying to offer more than 100 million services for free, like read on portfolio website, resume builder, cover letter, motivation letter, and all knowledge platform for gathering general knowledge which can update all day. Each learning game, website, free course, convert sites, and many more. We help to empower you to learn to meet their expectation and dream and become highly skilled people. We implement several training program, webinar, and offline online courses for you, the learner, by professional trainers, speaker, and coaches. Our sessions are conducted by globally renowned professionals to develop all kinds of youth and to promote the education of their abilities and personal spirit knowledge is crucial for the state of global professional. We believe that Knowledge is love and light and vision. So we try to understand the needs of today's generation and we start them with research and practice method. We must have a genuine concern for the learner we present. More diversity, growth, and innovation are required to lead a session with professionalism, passion, and integrity. IGP members are committed to offering effective best quality service and continual improvement so that individuals who seek information can improve their skill level and hello. Before we move to the next, let me remind you to share, tag, and mention your friend in the comment box. The support is very valuable for us. Thank you. Before we move to the next, let me remind don't forget to share, tag, and mention your friend in the comment box. The support is very valuable for us. Thank you. Moving to the next with your continuous support. You already completed 2107 webinars successfully. Moving to the next with your continuous support. You already completed 2107 webinars successfully. Dear IGP speaker, participant, and well-wisher, at this moment is very important message for you all. We change and design our website www.eduigp.com. On the website, we have surprise for everyone. Hope you did it. We already launched our new website where you can find all our previous activities together with lots of new features. But one strong point is that without an account or login, you cannot enjoy our service. So create an account for once with profile information. Note that with profile information, you can services with now you can profile information you will enjoy our services. With profile information, you will enjoy our services. With mismatched data, you cannot do anything here. From now, you have to participate in live quiz competition on our website. We replace slide. You have to join directly on our website. Now you can check all of our previous webinars with verified certificate. Now it's easier and time oriented because after the session we will not provide you any code for certification. You have to take part in one exam. After that, if you pass, you will receive your certificate. Otherwise, not. But you can take part in an exam unlimited till you pass. If you are an IGP speaker, you can download all your previous certificate, speakership certificate. If you are a host of IGP, you can download certificate of gratitude. If you're an online live quiz competition winner, you can download certificate of participation. If you're selected for lifetime membership, then you can download certificate of lifetime membership easily. Besides this, you will participate in an award function which organized comments about with IGP. You can download that also. You can still prepare and download 18 types of certificate from our website with the remaining. Certificate of global professional membership, certificate of global influence in the pandemic, certificate of active knowledge seeker, certificate of social activities in the pandemic, Certificate of Achievement IGP Knowledge Seeking Game 2020, 2021 and 2022. Certificate of Participation Paper Series 1. Authentic Assessment in Teaching Learning. Certificate of Participation Paper Series 2. Teaching English and Foreign Language and Assessment. Certificate of Participation Paper Series 3. Digital Classroom Engagement 2. Certificate of Participation Paper Series 4. The New Trend in Education. Certificate of Participation Paper Series 5. Episcopal Social Leadership and Management Skills. Certificate of Participation Series 6. Trend and Innovation in Mathematics Education, Certificate of Participation Series 7, Research and Comprehension Approach, Certificate of Participation Series 8. Art in Teaching a Special Program in the Arts, Certificate of Participation Series 9, 21st Century Teaching Mathematics, Certificate of IGP Corporate Ambassador, Certificate of IGP Campus Ambassador, which you can prepare and download within a minute. From now on, you can participate in 1,000 plus international level quiz with verified certificate. Teaching tips for teacher, health tips for parents, and tips for teach education tools for teacher. You can join IGP alumni. You can check out our student services website for free and many more. Dear IGP well-wisher, we promised previously, but lack of technical problem, we are late sending on time. This is a great opportunity to collect your previous condition to solve all issues from our website. Now you can enroll, reset password, everything. You can check your input for all webinar details. It's a cordial request to check all pages on our website. Should like and be benefited. Thank you, but note that without an account or login, you cannot enjoy our service. At present, we are going to start 2108 webinar, which name is Forensic Science Principle, and today our speaker name is Dr. Corlia Kaplan, Rikili Lafadel-san. She is from Philippines. Before I hand over this to Roy speaker, I'm going to share a little bit about her. Criminology Department, Mountain Province State Polytechnical College, Bontoc Mountain Province. Now, very important moment for me to invite our speaker to IGP with her presentation. Now, very important moment for me to invite our speaker to IGP with her presentation. Hello,
Okay,
ma'am.
good evening. Good evening.
Ma'am, the stage is you. You can start your presentation now.
Okay, thank you. Good evening from the Philippines. This time, we will be talking about the principles of forensic science. So, um, forensic science principles provide a robust framework for collecting, analyzing, and interpreting evidence. So, by adhering to these principles, forensic scientists can contribute significantly to the pursuit of justice, ensuring objective and reliable evidence informs the legal process. So, as forensic continues to evolve, these core principles remain the foundation for a future where science plays an ever increasing role in upholding the law. And with that, um, we will be talking about the Locard's exchange principle, individuality, class characteristics versus individual characteristics, the chain of custody, and error minimization. Okay. Of course, the Locard's exchange principle is a fundamental principle established by Edmond Locard. It states that whenever two objects come into contact, a transfer of material occurs. In forensic context, this translates to the exchange of trace evidence between a perpetrator, the victim, and the crime scene. So fiber, the hair, fingerprints, DNA, and all these can be minute pieces of a large puzzle, meticulously collected by crime scene investigators and analyzed by forensic scientists to construct the sequence of events and identify potential culprits. For example, imagine a robbery where the perpetrator grabs the victim's purse. Fibers from the perpetrator's clothing could be found on the purse strap, while the victim's DNA might be found under the perpetrator's fingernails during a struggle. So, this exchange of trace evidence can be powerful in linking a suspect to the crime scene. Also, of course, the Locard's principle guides forensic scientists in various ways. First is the crime scene investigation. This principle emphasizes the meticulous collection of all potential evidence, no matter how seemingly insignificant. So, a tiny fiber, a single fingerprint, or a speck of dust all could be crucial elements in linking a suspect to the crime. So, another is the trace evidence analysis. Locard's principle underpins the importance of analyzing trace evidence recovered from the crime scene. Victim and the victim and the suspect. So the hair again, fibers, blood, skin flakes, and other trace materials can be compared to identify potential matches, linking individuals to the scene or, of course, to the victim. Another is the reconstruction of events. So, by analyzing the type of location of trace evidence, forensic scientists can help reconstruct the sequence of events at the crime scene. So, which happened first and then where happened what. The presence or absence of certain materials can shed light on the perpetrator's movements, interactions with the victim, and the potential sequence of events. For example, in fiber transfer, fibers from the suspect's clothing could be found on the victim's clothing or at the crime scene. This suggests that there is a physical contact between the suspect and the victim. Another is the fingerprint analysis. Fingerprints left on the crime scene can be compared to the suspect's fingerprints, providing a strong link to their presence. And the last is DNA analysis. The DNA recovered from trace evidence like blood or hair can be used to identify the perpetrator, especially when compared to a DNA database of known offenders. Okay? And we also have, however, the limitations of the Locard's principle. So, while powerful, the Locard's principle has the following limitations. First is that the transfer may not always occur. In some cases, due to the nature of crime or the environment, there might be minimal or no exchange of trace evidence. Second is transfer in controlled settings. People shed trace evidence everywhere they go, and differentiating between casual contact and contact during a crime can be challenging. For example, if a crime happened in a public place, then definitely there will be lots of trace evidences that can be found in the crime scene. And it would be quite difficult to identify the trace evidence that's coming from the offender or the suspect. And the third is we have the microscopic evidence limitations. Trace evidence analysis may not always yield definitive results, especially with degraded or limited samples. For example, if the only sperm that was taken from the crime scene is incomplete, then it can also not be enough to provide a um, enough amount for a DNA extraction there. So, anyhow, the Locard's exchange principle serves as a guiding light for forensic science and criminal investigations. By recognizing the potential of trace evidence transfer, investigators can effectively collect and analyze evidence, potentially link suspects to the crime scene, and strengthening the case for the prosecution. While limitations exist, the Locard's principle remains a cornerstone of forensic science, laying the foundation for the objective and scientific investigation of crimes. Um, the next slide is talking about the individuality or the principle of individuality. Forensic science relies on the principle of individuality, which posits that no two individuals, of course, except for identical twins who share an identical genetic makeup or the DNA. So, DNA analysis has revolutionized forensic science, allowing for the positive identification of individuals from even the most minuscule biological samples like blood, saliva, and other follicles or the hair follicles. For example, DNA profiling can link a blood stain found at the crime scene to a suspect, providing a strong piece of evidence in court. And the high discriminatory power of DNA analysis makes it a cornerstone or a foundation of forensic identification. But then, of course, let us also look into the applicability of identification or individuality in forensic science. So the principle of individuality has numerous applications in forensic science, including first, identification. Forensic scientists use various techniques to analyze evidence and establish the identity of a person, object, or substance. DNA profiling is a prime example, allowing for the positive identification of the suspect or the victim. And uh, I mean, in here, the identification is simply saying that the principle of individuality is really putting a foundation on as a principle of forensic science, because it strongly believes that there are no two things that are alike, of course, except for when we are talking about DNA, except for the DNA makeup of the identical twins. Okay. And then we also have the second, reconstruction of events. By analyzing the unique characteristics of various types of evidence, for instance, the presence of specific uh, the tar tread marks at a hit and run scene can link a particular vehicle to the crime. For example, the principle of individuality can also be used to exclude suspects from an investigation. If DNA recovered from a crime scene doesn't match a suspect's DNA, they can be ruled out as a contributor. Okay. And let us look into the impact of individuality on criminal investigation. So the principles of individuality significantly impacts criminal investigations by providing the following. The first is the strong evidence, and then we also have here the cold case resolution, and then the investigative leads. For the strong evidence, forensic evidence based on individuality offers a higher degree of certainty compared to circumstantial evidence. And the DNA match to a suspect is a powerful piece of evidence in court. And then next is that DNA profiling has revolutionized the cold case investigation. Previously unsolved crimes can be re examined using advanced DNA techniques, leading to the identification of perpetrators decades after the offense. And that too is possible. And the last one is the investigative leads. The analysis of unique characteristics in various types of evidence can generate investigative leads. For instance, a rare fiber found at the crime scene might narrow down the search for a suspect to individuals who own clothing made from the specific materials, such as, for example, the abaca, the banana leaves, or the other, garments that are made or that were made from distinct or rare materials. Okay. And of course, this too has its own challenges and limitations. The principle of individuality, while powerful, has limitations. Uh, re- Degraded or limited samples can make it difficult to obtain conclusive results. Additionally, some types of evidence, like microscopic hair analysis, are less individualistic and require careful interpretation by experienced scientists. And of course, the principle of individuality is a fundamental tenet of forensic science. And by exploiting the unique characteristics of various types of evidence, forensic scientists can provide valuable insights into criminal investigations, leading to a stronger evidence, the cold case resolution, and the identification of perpetrators. As forensic science continues to evolve, the principle of individuality remains as a building block for a more robust and reliable forensic examination system. Another principle that I'm going to present is the class characteristics and the individual characteristics. Forensic evidence can be classified into two. Ayun. We have here the class characteristics and individual characteristics. Class characteristics narrow down the possibilities but not pinpoint a unique source. For instance, fiber analysis might reveal the type of a fabric a thread originated from, such as cotton or wool, but it wouldn't necessarily identify the specific garment it came from. Um, uh, to cite an example, microscopic examinations of bullet casings recovered from a crime scene can only give you the caliber of the firearm that was used, but it wouldn't identify the specific gun that fired the bullets. And individual characteristics like microscopic striations on a bullet casing can link a specific gun to a crime scene. Here, here is and here is the distinction of the class characteristics and the individual characteristics. Under class characteristics, it describes the evidence that can be shared by a group of items or individuals. They don't put a unique identification, but it helps categorize the evidence and eliminates possibilities. It can, for example, it can determine that that is a human blood, but it may not necessarily identify what blood type that that collected evidence may be. However, for individual characteristics, it pinpoints the source. Individual characteristics are unique features of evidence that can link it to a specific source with a high degree of certainty. For example, if you're going to um, determine the blood type and of course the DNA that's extracted from that blood, then that is already individual characteristics because it's going to pinpoint the source of the blood. Okay. Um, Again, there are also limitations and considerations in here. Of the first is incomplete evidence. Sometimes evidence might be too degraded or limited to yield individual characteristics. In such cases, class characteristics can still provide valuable investigation or in the invaluable investigative leads. Another is the combined analysis. So for stronger results, forensic scientists may combine the analysis of class and individual characteristics from different types of evidence found at the crime scene. So understanding the distinction between class and individual characteristics is crucial in forensic science. By strategically utilizing both, forensic scientists empower criminal investigations with robust and informative evidence. Okay. And another principle is the chain of custody. Maintaining an unbroken chain of custody is paramount in forensic science. And this meticulous documentation process tracks the collection, preservation, storage, and analysis of evidence, ensuring its integrity and admissibility in court. A break in the chain of custody could raise doubts about the evidence's validity, potentially jeopardizing a case. Um, Again, to cite an example, a blood sample collected from a suspect must be documented thoroughly from the moment it's collected by law enforcement officers or the law enforcement officers to its analysis in the forensic laboratory. And this chain of custody documentation ensures the sample hasn't been tampered with and maintains the court's confidence in the authenticity of such evidence. We have here the application of the chain of custody. It establishes a meticulous paper trail that documents the collection, preservation, storage, and analysis of evidence, guaranteeing its authenticity and admissibility in court. And of course, the breaches in the chain of custody can cast doubt on the evidence's validity, potentially derailing a case. So here's a deeper drive, or here's a deeper delve into the application of the chain of custody. We have here four. The first is the importance of forensic science. So forensic analysis relies heavily on the integrity of evidence, and the chain of custody ensures that the evidence collected at the crime scene is the same evidence analyzed in the laboratory. This documentation protects against allegations of tampering, contamination, or substitution, which could compromise the scientific result. Second is the documentation process. The chain of custody is established at the crime scene when evidence is collected. A detailed log documents the type of evidence, its location of recovery, the time and date of collection, and the initials of the officer collecting it. Each subsequent transfer of the evidence requires further documentation, including the the recipient's signature and the reason for transfer. That's why in the evidence bags we have the labels that needs to be filled out. That is to ensure that the same evidence collected from the scene is the same evidence that's being analyzed. The third is maintaining continuity. The chain of custody must be maintained throughout the entire process. Evidence is typically placed in tamper evidence containers, which seals and with seals and unique identifiers. Secure storage facilities with limited access further safeguards the evidence's integrity. The last is the applicability in criminal investigation. A strong chain of custody strengthens the prosecution's case by demonstrating proper handling of evidence. Defense attorneys may challenge weak chain of custody documentation, potentially leading to the exclusion of evidence from trial. So, a well documented chain of custody bolsters the prosecution's argument for the evidence's reliability. We just imagine a blood sample collected from a crime scene. The chain of custody would document the officer who collected it, the time of collection, the container used, and the transfer of the sample to the forensic laboratory. The lab would further document the receipt of the sample it analyzes and um, of course, including the storage locations of any remaining sample materials. This meticulous documentation ensures the court has confidence that the blood sample analyzed originated from the crime scene has not been compromised. So, yeah, the chain of custody principle is an essential safeguard in our legal system since it ensures that the evidence presented in court is authentic and has not been tampered with, along with, of course, it allowing for a fair and just outcome. Okay, so the next one is the, I think this is the last principle. We have here the error minimization. Um, Forensic science is a human endeavor and possibility of error exists. To minimize errors, forensic laboratories implement rigorous quality control measures. It employs validated analytical techniques and utilize double-blind testing procedures whether possible. Continuing education and proficiency testing for forensic scientists are also crucial in maintaining the accuracy and reliability of forensic analysis. Um, for example, DNA laboratories routinely perform blank analysis to ensure no contamination has occurred during the process. And regular proficiency testing ensures the analysts maintain their skills in interpreting complex DNA profiles. There is also an interplay in the investigation. Uh, Using the sequential approach, the forensic scientists often, will start uh, with the class characteristics to narrow the possibility of delimiting or identifying the group or the classification of the evidence and then employing individual characteristics for definitive identification. Example, hair found at the crime scene might be identified as brown human hair. That is its classification through a microscope. Further analysis using mitochondrial DNA would give its individual characteristics, could potentially link the hair to a specific suspect. Of course, there are various applications of this in forensic science. The first is validated analytical techniques. So, forensic laboratories rely on established and validated analytical methods that have undergone rigorous testing to demonstrate their accuracy and reliability. And these validated methods minimize the risk of erroneous results due to improper techniques or faulty instrumentation. Another is the quality control. Laboratories implement a comprehensive quality control program that monitors the entire analytic process. And this includes regular calibration of equipment, the use of control samples to ensure accuracy, and the participation in proficiency testing programs to assess analysts' competence in laboratory testings. This is according to the American Society for Testing and Materials. Okay, and we have the third, the double blind analysis. This is also a technique in minimizing the errors during laboratory analysis. In some forensic disciplines, in some forensic disciplines, double blind testing procedures can be employed. Here, analysts are unaware of the origin of the sample they are analyzing. This minimizes the risk of subconscious bias that can influence their interpretation of the results. The last is, of course, documentation. Tedious documentation of all procedures from evidence collection to analysis and interpretation is very important. And this detailed record um, allows for the reconstruction of the investigative process and facilitates review to identify potential errors. So, may I present the applicability of this in the criminal investigation? We have three: crime scene procedure, where minimizing contamination and preserving evidence integrity at the crime scene are, of course, important. Established protocols for scene processing, collection, and packaging of evidence. Um, it would ensure the chain of custody in maintaining the potential of uh, errors during the collection. While the collection is being done. And then the second is investigative techniques, utilizing reliability and validated investigative techniques like witness interviewing procedures and proper handling of digital evidence minimizes the risk of introducing errors or bias into the investigation. And then lastly, we have documentation. Thorough documentation of investigative steps, including witness statements, timeliness, and investigative reports, allows for review and minimizes the potential for error in memory or interpretation of events. So, the principle of error minimization is, again, a foundation of both forensic science and criminal investigation techniques. By implementing rigorous protocols, documentation, rigorous protocols and the documentation, the risk of errors are minimized, ensuring the integrity of evidence, and of course, in strengthening the foundation for a just or a fair outcome. Okay, so that ends my presentation. Thank you so much for listening. I would now want to turn over the mic to the floor to the our host.
Thank you so much, ma'am, for a rich content presentation which can impact our knowledge seekers surely. After your presentation, I hope our knowledge seeker can learn something new, features or only intention. Learn and grow together, IGP knowledge seeker. Once again, thank you so much, ma'am, for your presentation. Now, ma'am, it's time for our question answer session, which is the one more valuable part of our regular webinar. Honorable ma'am, please stay with us. After a short video, we will back in our session part 2, which is the question answer part. Dear IGP knowledge seeker, please ask your question in the comment box as much as you want to know from our speaker. Thank you. After question answer, we have a webinar certification and online quiz competition. Dear IGP knowledge seeker, please ask your question in the comment box as much as you want to know from our speaker. Thank you. After question answer, we have a webinar certification and online quiz competition. IGP knowledge seeker, please ask your question in the comment box as much as you want to know from our speaker. Thank you. After question answer, we have a webinar certification and online quiz competition. Dear IGP knowledge seeker, please ask your question in the comment box as much as you want to know from our speaker. Thank you. After question answer, we have a webinar certification and online quiz competition. Ma'am, our first question is from you team. How is DNA used in forensic science? If someone has been shot, what does it mean if the forensic lab described it was a contract wound?
Okay, I'm sorry. Yeah. Your question is pertaining to the use of DNA in forensic science. So definitely the DNA is extracted from body fluids. And of course, that would include the saliva, the blood, the semen, and it can also be extracted from the other parts of the body, such as we have yeah, we included the skin, the hair, and the others. However, the second question is that if someone has been shot, what does it mean if the forensic lab describes it as a contact wound? So a contact wound, there are two things that are being raised here. First is the use of DNA in forensic science. As we have said a while back, the principle of the Locard's exchange principle and the principle of individuality are explaining that the evidence, such as for example the DNA that is found in the crime scene or in the victim's wound, can actually pinpoint the source of the DNA. So of course the source would definitely be the offender. And the second question is talking about what if the forensic lab describes it as such a contact wound. Well, the contact wound can also um, might have had collected the a DNA or any other pieces of evidence from the offender. For example, if that is gunshot, well, yes, because it's talking about if someone has been shot. So if someone has been shot, and of course the contact wound can have the gunpowder residue there. And of course, the gunpowder residue that's coming from the contact wound or from the wound would be analyzed, and then it can be classified. That's when the principle of class characterization comes in. But definitely, it's not going to pinpoint whose finger triggered the gun, where the residue came from, but it can also lead to it can but then it can be used um, to determine the persons who have been using that kind of gun there, until such time that the individual classification or characteristics would come in. Or if for example the other techniques that is applicable under the individual characteristic principle would be administered there. Thank you. I hope that I have answered your questions very well, and I hope you are satisfied with the answers.
Thank you so much, ma'am, for your answer. Ma'am, there is no more questions from our participants. So once again, thank you so much, ma'am, for your time in IGP. We have learned a lot from you with new topic. It will add some value to our day-to-day activity along with our academic and professional growth. Honorable ma'am, hope to see you again with a new topic and a new date. Thank you, ma'am. Take care. Honorable ma'am, before I move to the next, if you want to leave this studio, you can.
Thank you. Thank you too.
Welcome, ma'am. Dear IGP knowledge seeking, time for the webinar certification process, the most attractive and powerful part of our regular webinar. After a short video, we will start our webinar certification. After webinar certification, we have an online quiz competition and quiz certification. Dear IGP knowledge seeking, time for the webinar certification process, the most attractive and powerful part of our regular webinar. After a short video, we will start our webinar certification. After webinar certification, we have an online quiz competition and quiz certification. Certification process. Visit www.eduigp.com. Please make sure your presence on our website. Find a learning session and get enrolled. After watching completing part 1, move to the next video. Learning test passing mark 80%. If pass, back to the course again to download the certificate. If fail to retract the quiz, download the certificate in PDF or JPG. For your attention, I am going to share the procedure again. Visit www.eduigp.com. Please make sure your presence on our website. Find a learning session and get enrolled. After watching completing part 1, move to the next video. Learning test passing mark 80%. If pass, back to the course again to download the certificate. If fail, retake the quiz, download the certificate in PDF or JPG. Dear IGP knowledge seeking, time for the most engaging part of this webinar, which is an online quiz competition, which is our regular webinar activity. We change a few process for online quiz competition. Note that after live, no one can participate. Now, time for the online quiz competition. To join the online quiz competition properly, please follow my instruction carefully. Now, time for the online quiz competition. To join the online quiz competition properly, please follow my instruction carefully. Visit www.eduigp.com and sign up or sign in. Without this, you cannot join live quiz competition anymore. Browse the live quiz button and give a link for the session and join with the logged website or user account. Click join and wait for a few minutes for others to join. Enjoy an online live quiz competition. After the quiz, we will issue certificate for top 10 as previously, which you can find on official Facebook page and group Institute of Global Professional. After a short video, we will start our quiz session. With 18 people, we are going to start our quiz session right now. First question is, which of these famous forensic science shows trend to use true and understood principle of science? Is it option 1 or option 2? Option 1 is the right answer. 93% people are right here. Second question is, who is the subject coordinator of principle of forensic science? Is it option 1 or option 2? Option 2 is the right answer. 69% people are right here. Third question is, how many fundamental principles or laws are there in forensic science? Is it option 1 or option 2? Option 2 is the right answer. 81% people are right here. Next question is, who is credited with pioneering the basic principle of forensic science? Is it option 1 or option 2? Option 1 is the right answer. 69% people are right here. Our next question is, which forensic science unit applies the principle of chemistry, physics, and geology? Is it option 1 or option 2? Option 2 is the right answer. 44% people are right here. Next question is, the scientists who gave major principle of contribution in the development of forensic science. Is it option 1 or option 2? Option 2 is the right answer. 87% people are right here. Next question is, the application of scientific principle and technology and methods the criminal justice in forensic science is true. Is it true or false? Option 2 is the right answer. 100% people are right here. Next question is, who was the first person to apply the principle of forensic science to a working crime laboratory? Is it option 1 or option 2? Option 2 is the right answer. 100% people are right here. Second last question of this session is a classic 8083 text on forensic science, the principle and practice of medical jurisprudence by Alfred Swain Taylor, and is it option 1 or option 2? Option 2 is the right answer. 79% people are right here. Last and final question of the session is a 8083 text of forensic science contains a chapter on, is it option 1 or option 2? Option 2 is the right answer. 100% people are right here. Congratulations to our online quiz competition and top 10. Congratulations again. We will take a few minutes for finalizing the result. After that, we will issue our online quiz competition certificate on official Facebook page and group instead of Global Professional. Congratulations to our online quiz competition and top 10. Congratulations again. We will take a few minutes for finalizing the result. After that, we will issue our online quiz competition certificate on official Facebook page and group instead of Global Professional. Congratulations to our online quiz competition and top 10. Congratulations again. We will take a few minutes for finalizing the result. After that, we will issue our online quiz competition certificate on official Facebook page and group Institute of Global Professional. At the end of our session, we can say properly fit your skills. Never stop learning, cause life never stop teaching us. Be happy as a safe. See you again and again. We want your participation in every program. If you live a happy life, try to a goal, not a people of things, Albert Einstein. Before I saw hit the like button, I want to thank all IGP knowledge seekers for your active participation as always. See you next session. Thank you.